Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review 3 foundations from SHEGLAM. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw I bought a lot of stuff from SHEGLAM. I did a makeup haul on my Instagram and I got a lot of comments and requests to review the foundation. These SHEGLAM foundations are super viral on the internet, on TikTok and even on Reels, and everybody seems to be interested in these foundations because they're so inexpensive and the packaging is so beautiful. I'll just show you, and also I've heard that they perform really well. I'll let you know which is my favorite one. I got all the 3 foundations. One is their Skinfluencer Balm foundation, the other 2. This one is a matte foundation and this one is a hydrating foundation. So these 2 are liquid foundations and this is a balm foundation. Before I start with the review, let's talk about my skin type. My skin type is dry. Sometimes in the winter times it gets really dry. Usually in the summer months it's normal leaning dry. Okay, now let's talk about the packaging. The packaging is so luxe. All of them come with their velvet pouch, which is so fancy. The glass bottle again looks really expensive. It does not look like an affordable drugstore or a cheap foundation. It looks really nice and it's a really pretty foundation to look at. I love the aesthetic. It's so clean looking and it's really pretty. The same with the Skinfluencer foundation. This also comes with a velvet pouch and this one comes with a black pouch and has a black cap. When it comes to shade range, they have quite an extensive shade range. They have 32 shades for each foundation, which I feel is quite extensive. And they also tell you the undertone. They have warmer shades, cool tone shades and neutral shades. So they have 3 undertones that you can choose from and then 32 shades. Okay, I'm going to start with the Skinfluencer one because I know this is the most viral one and most people are interested in this foundation. So this is a balm foundation and they recommend that you use this with a brush. I've tried using it with a sponge and honestly it doesn't look that good. You need to use a brush with this. It has a really waxy texture and that makes sense because this product has wax in it. If you live in a very hot climate or hot area, this might melt in the pot as well as on your face. I live in Dubai and I went to the park with my daughter. We were playing quite a bit in the park and after I got really sweaty and hot, I could feel like this was melting off my face. So if you live in a very hot climate, first of all, you need to set it really well. And also, if it's really hot, maybe this is not the best one to use during those very hot days. As for the coverage, this is medium to full coverage. Personally, I don't like using it as a full coverage foundation because I feel that way it does look a bit cakey. If you use a lot of it, you can definitely achieve full coverage. But if you use a little bit, you can actually have a very light coverage as well. So it's quite versatile that way. The finish that it gives is quite glowy, waxy. Again, because it has wax in it. So you really do feel that on your skin. Not in a bad way, but I feel if you have oily skin, you definitely need to set it. For someone like me with dry skin, I didn't feel the need to set it. I do have smile lines like most people, but with my dry skin, I feel like a lot of foundations do accentuate it and this is definitely one that does. When I was using this foundation, they did become quite a bit prominent, which personally I don't like. So if you have mature skin or someone who has really dry skin, this might accentuate your smile lines and maybe fine lines that you have on your face. This is a beautiful foundation, especially on camera. It really does look really nice, but in person it might accentuate your fine lines and wrinkles if you have any, and I definitely don't think this would work for people with mature skin. The texture is quite emollient, so if you like that kind of texture, you'll really like this. And I, with my dry skin, did like this, but I would only wear this if I have to go somewhere for a couple of hours. I won't wear this as my long wearing foundation. It looked really pretty for the first few hours. So I would rate this 7 out of 10. Okay, now let's talk about the other 2 foundations, which surprisingly I liked more than the Skinfluencer foundation. I was expecting to love that foundation and I was thinking these 2 I'm going to like, but maybe not as much. But it's actually the opposite. I love these foundations, both of them surprisingly, the matte one and the hydrating one. Hydrating one because my skin is dry, I do lean towards hydrating foundations, but when I was using the matte foundation, my skin without using powder looked so natural. This is not overly mattifying where your skin will look really dry, and it looks quite natural. It has a satin skin-like finish. It's not overly mattifying. It did not accentuate my fine lines and smile lines, which I'm really conscious about because I smile a lot and I am very expressive with my face. Out of the 2, I feel like in the summers I would gravitate towards this and in the winters I'll gravitate towards this. I like both of them. They're very similar in their coverage level, which is medium buildable. You can build it to full coverage, but I feel they're ideal for people who like medium coverage. The only thing I did not like about these 2 foundations is that they oxidize quite a bit. So whatever your shade is, do go a shade or two lighter because it does oxidize. Both of them. The matte one more than the hydrating one, but they both oxidize. This you should get 2 shades lighter and this at least 1. The Balm foundation did slightly oxidize, but not as much as these two. With the hydrating foundation, you'll get a radiant, glowy finish, which is very skin-like, but healthy skin. But if I want to make it long wearing, I do have to use a powder with this. With this one, I can actually skip powder. This is the matte one, of course, and I can skip powder with this. But if you have oily skin, you'll probably need to powder with this as well. These are both quite lightweight, which the Balm foundation is kind of not. It does feel heavy on the skin. With these two, you don't feel like you have a thick layer of makeup on your face. These are quite lightweight on the skin, at least on my skin. And they look good even after hours of having makeup on your face. So if you have oily skin naturally, I feel you should try this. And if you have dry skin naturally, you can get this. But even if you have dry skin, this is great. You don't have to powder with this. With this, you do have to powder. I think even if you have oily skin, but you like a glowy foundation, this could really work for you as well. Honestly, both of them really good. I would rate them 9 out of 10, which is pretty high for a foundation. I love testing and trying out a lot of foundations, so for me to rate them 9 is pretty high. I do really like them, especially for the price, because you have to keep in mind these are just $9-10, which is what, 32 dirhams. So inexpensive. I don't even think you can get drugstore foundations for this less in the Middle East. For the price and how they perform, I do want to rate them 9 because for this much you cannot find a good foundation. So guys, I think I've pretty much covered it all. These two are definitely worth checking out. Personally, for my skin, these work better than the Balm foundation. Although I feel on the internet, I tend to love this a lot more. But for me and my skin, these worked a lot better. And honestly, I liked both of them. I thought I would not like the matte one. But for a skin-like finish, this really did work for me. And for hot summer days, I'll probably opt for this one. And for the winter months or for days when I don't want to use a powder, I'm going to opt for this one. So guys, I hope you guys liked this video. If this was helpful, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.